Hello everybody, my name is Morgan Gard and this is your pack preview for day one of the Lindsey Wilson Tournament. A year of first, you could say, for IU East, as this is a new tournament and a new tournament for Lindsey Wilson and a new tournament for IU East. And today is Coach Niekamp to talk about their reasons for going to the Lindsey Wilson Tournament. So, hello Coach, how are you?
Good, how are you, Morgan?
Oh, I am just peachy. So, Lindsey Wilson Tournament, brand new tournament. Why did you choose to come to this one?
Lindsey Wilson is a powerhouse of a team, and they bring in great competition to this tournament every year. So we wanted to get in on that and see some different teams. We went out to Columbia, Missouri last preseason and played out there. So we just wanted to see if we could get some different competition.
You definitely got some different competition at this tournament. Ohio Northwestern is first, or Northwestern Ohio, my bad, is your first team today, and they have 6 seniors. So they have a little bit of experience on us. Do you see that as being a problem, or let me rephrase that. Is that going to be a challenge for your players?
Absolutely, it's going to be a challenge. UNOH is always a really good team, really experienced team. So I think that's going to help us kind of expose our weaknesses and know what to work on. So win or lose, we're going to get a lot out of that match.
That's great to hear, to take it away. It's almost a learning experience for your girls. Lindsey Wilson is next, and they're actually the host of this tournament, like we've mentioned, and you're playing them on their home court. Do you see this being a challenge?
Yeah, I think this whole tournament is a challenge for us, but playing Lindsey Wilson on their home court, I think it's going to give us a lot to look at as far as what they do on their home court, and kind of pick up a few things from them for moving into our home matches later in the season.
Okay, well the Blue Raiders also have played 2 games already before they play you today. Do you see, as a player, you have experienced playing many tournaments and playing many games back-to-back. Is it going to help the Red Wolves that Lindsey Wilson has played so many games already?
It kind of depends. It's all about their physical conditioning, their mental conditioning, and that's something that we've worked really hard on this summer to help with our kids. So I assume that they're doing the same, so we'll see when we meet up with them.
Okay, and last but not least, this is a brand new tournament, like we've mentioned, has a great turnout for being a first-year tournament. Do you see IU East in many moons from now when we have our gym ever hosting a tournament of this size?
Absolutely. I think we're going to start small, but we definitely want to start hosting one soon, as soon as we can. So yeah, I think that's in the works.
Good. That's great to hear. Since IU East is expanding, it's great to have another tournament here. So
absolutely. I think it'll be a great experience.
Well, thank you, Coach. I hope day one treats you well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm Morgan Gard, and we're going to bump this one over to our live commentators at Lindsey Wilson.
Hello everyone once again, and welcome to Columbia, Kentucky, to the Bigger Sports Center on the campus of Lindsey Wilson College. I'm Caleb Gillock, the voice of the IU East Red Wolves. IU East volleyball team is a part of a 17-team field that will assemble for the Lindsey Wilson College Classic today and tomorrow. The Red Wolves open the event against the University of Northwestern Ohio, and then they will face the host school, 7th-ranked Lindsey Wilson at 8:30 p.m. That's going to be IU East time at 7:30 here in Kentucky, so a little bit of a time difference between Richmond and Columbia, Kentucky, but we'll get through it this weekend. We're glad you're here to listen to our broadcast. Last time IU East went 2-2 when they were out at the Grace College Classic on August 21st and 22nd with wins against Trinity Christian College and St. Ambrose University, and losses were against IU Kokomo and tournament champion Grace College. Senior outside hitter Mallory Livingston from Union City, Ohio, and junior middle hitter Morgan Steinbrenner represented IU East on the all-tournament team. IU East is 5-1 against Northwestern Ohio all-time, with the most recent meeting being in 2012. They are also 1-0 all-time against Lindsey Wilson, who they'll be playing coming up at 8:30. IU East continues its stretch of 15 consecutive matches away from home to start the season, and Lindsey Wilson will be seeing them later. They are the highest-ranked team on the IU East schedule. Mallory Livingston, Morgan Steinbrenner, and sophomore Bailey Gates, Abby Ketchum, and Madison Yoder are IU East team leaders in various statistical categories coming into this matchup. So we've talked about how they're going to be taking on the University of Northwestern Ohio. They are the Racers. 2 of the losses for Northwestern Ohio, who are now 0-5, were at the Bethel College tournament, were against ranked opponents. And then they just had a loss against the tournament host, Lindsey Wilson, in 3 sets. So that gives them an 0-5 record coming into the matchup. Taylor Winter, a 5'11 freshman middle blocker, leads the Racers with 1.9 kills and 0.5 blocks per set. So it looks like it's going to be an interesting matchup between these two teams. From watching the Lindsey Wilson and the UNOH matchup, it looks like UNOH definitely has some potential to give our Red Wolves a little bit of trouble, but also with the young team that IU East has, they are also a great team coming into the matchup. So it'll be interesting to see how these two teams pair up coming up here in just a few minutes. Also, taking a look here inside the gymnasium, inside the Biggers Gymnasium, a little bit smaller surroundings than what we're used to, unless we're playing back at home at Seton Catholic High School. A little bit narrow compared to how things were at Grace College last week. A little bit less room behind the court and to each side. The scores table this time that is a little bit closer to the floor than what there was at Grace. Also, the ceiling here inside the gymnasium is a little bit lower, and in the match that we were just watching before, which included UNOH and Lindsey Wilson, that became an issue a couple times for those two teams. So it'll be interesting to see how the surroundings inside the gymnasium play a part in today's matchup as well. We're going to take a quick break and come back with more of the start of this matchup between the University of Northwestern Ohio Racers and your IU East Red Wolves right after this.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock, the voice of your IU East Red Wolves. IU East getting ready to take on the University of Northwestern Ohio Racers here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. It should be a great matchup between these two teams. IU East comes into the matchup with a record of 2-2. We were talking about that just a few minutes ago, who they were able to beat back at the Grace College Classic and who they lost to. And also UNOH comes into the matchup with an 0-5 record, with their most recent loss being just about an hour ago to the host school, the Lindsey Wilson College. And so both teams shaking hands, getting ready to go here inside the Biggers Gymnasium. About a 5-hour bus ride down here from Richmond earlier today, so I'm pretty sure that the girls are ready to play. Once again, don't forget that they will be playing Lindsey Wilson coming up at 8:30 IU East time, 7:30 here. So be sure to tune in for that matchup as well. That's going to be broadcast by the Lindsey Wilson College. We will not be broadcasting that game. They will be. So be sure that you take note of that. We'll try to have a link to that posted both on the website and on Twitter at least. That way you're able to watch the game against Lindsey Wilson as well, but we will be having both games tomorrow, so be sure to tune in for those. But looks like we're ready to go here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. Out on the floor for IU East right now is Hannah Best, Madison Yoder, Sydney Durham, Mallory Livingston, Abby Ketchum, and looks like Bella Pavey. That's the starting six out on the floor for the IU East Red Wolves. And the first matchup for IU East and the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. So waiting on the officials to finish up their business here before the game gets started. And it looks like the ball is now out to the UNOH server. And we are ready to go. Here is the serve from Kelsey Feely. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig, set by Pavey, and Durham with the kill to start the match. And that gives the Red Wolves a 1-0 lead to begin things here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. And after having that kill, Durham is going to go back to serve for IU East. Cindy Durham, the tallest player on the IU East roster, stands at 6'1", and is a sophomore. It's going to be a service error against IU East and ties the first set up 1-1. And that will put back the UNOH libero to serve. That is Sierra Anderson. Anderson's a 5-foot senior from St. Mary's, Ohio. Went to Memorial High School. There's the dig by Livingston. Now here's the kill right in front of number 8, Sierra Anderson. And that gives the Red Wolves a 1-point advantage, 2-1 here in the first set. So IU East with the advantage. And there's an answer from UNOH to tie it up at 2. Two to 2 here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic, and the matchup between the IU East Red Wolves and the Northwestern Ohio Racers. Here's the serve, goes over to Madison Yoder. And there's Missy Bedell for the Red Wolves. Racers trying to get the ball back with the attack. It's going to go out of bounds. And a point to IU East. 3-2 here in the first set. Serve goes over. Blocked up front by Steinbrenner. And another point to the Red Wolves, 4-2. Apologize for the score graphic being a little behind here. Working on getting that going as well. It goes over to the right side. Blocked up front by Steinbrenner once more. And now it's a 3-point advantage for the Red Wolves, 5-2. Mallory Livingston back to serve for IU East. There's the set. And the attack, it's going to be outside of the line, and it's a 6-2 lead now for IU East. Red Wolves starting to get comfortable here early on in the first set. Set by Ketchum. Here's Gates with the attack. Goes over and picked up by Feely. And this is going to be an attack by, looks like, Nora for the Racers. And it's now 6-3. There's Nora Attica for the Racers. And she's now back to serve. Here's the serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder. And here's Bedell with the attack, picked up by the Racers. Goes back over to Ketchum. Yoder with the dig. Here's Livingston with the attack. Goes over to UNOH. Fighting to keep the ball alive. 6-3 in the first set. Over to Yoder once more for the dig. Here's Bedell. Tips it over. Kept alive by the Racers. Quick thinking there by Abby Ketchum. And a point for the Red Wolves, 7-3. So Madison Yoder now back to serve for IU East. Serve goes over. And this is going to be a point to the Racers, now 7-4. Seven to 4 in the first set. And now back to serve for the Racers is number 11, Kaylee Hawkins. Serve goes over to Livingston, set by Ketchum. Here's Bedell with the attack. It's going to go out of bounds off the hands of Samantha Mazzell, and it's going to be a point to the Red Wolves, 8-4. So Bella Pavey comes back into the game for IU East. She's going to go back to serve. Pavey, one of the newcomers for IU East. Went to Union County High School. Goes away back. Livingston able to get the ball. Once more over to Pavey. Ketchum hustling to get to it, able to keep the ball alive. And set by the Racers. Here's their attack over to Livingston. Yoder with the dig. Here's Bailey Gates. Blocked up front by the Racers. And that block was by number 9, Stephanie Hainwold. Also looked like Taylor Winter was in on that block a little bit as well. So a point to the Racers, 8-5 in the first set. And here is the serve from number 16. That's Nicolina Nikolic. And that's going to be out of bounds. A point to the Racers. Makes the score 8-6. UNOH is the home team on the scoreboard here inside the Vickers Gymnasium. And IU East, the visiting team on the scoreboard. Serve goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Pavey able to play it off the net. Kept alive by the Racers. Bounces off the net one time. Here's Sydney Durham up front. Kept alive by the Racers once more. Durham was able to get a hand on it. This is going to go out of bounds on a point to the Red Wolves. And now it's 9-6. So Bailey Gates going back to serve for the Red Wolves. Bailey Gates, a sophomore on the IU East roster. Went to Winchester Community High School. And this is going to be a service error point to the Racers, now 9-7. Kelsey Feely will come back into the game for UNOH to serve. Feely, a 5'5 junior from Fort Recovery, Ohio. And waiting on her to serve. Looks like the officials talking to Mallory Livingston. There's confusion on the substitution. Hannah Best now into the game for Bailey Gates. So that's all taken care of. And we're ready to get back to playing volleyball. Here's the serve from Kelsey Feely. Goes over to Hannah Best in the back row. Set by Pavey and a kill by Durham. 10-7, a 3-point advantage for the Red Wolves. And Durham back to serve once more for IU East. Up on the front row for IU East is Ketchum, Livingston, and Steinbrenner. Serve goes over into the back row for UNOH. Blocked up front by Ketchum. And that's going to be a point to IU East, 11-7. So a close matchup between the Racers and the Red Wolves. But the Red Wolves getting a great start here in the first set, coming off of 2 wins over at Grace College. Blocked up front by Steinbrenner and Livingston. And it'll be out of bounds. 11-8. Racers libero back to serve once again. That's Sierra Anderson, a 5-foot senior. And trying to get over to it. Just not in time, and it's a point to IU East, 12-8. Abby Ketchum going back to serve now for IU East. 5'10 freshman from Perry Meridian High School in Indianapolis. Getting a little bit of the perspiration off the floor over here on the UNOH side after Anderson went sliding across the floor trying to get to the ball. And there's going to be a timeout. So timeout down on the floor. We'll take one as well. We'll be back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
Hello, I'm Caleb Gillock, the host of Inside IUE Sports, a show where we talk with coaches, players, and other guests about what's happening with IUE's athletics.
In the top 100 high school seniors.
Last year we were fortunate enough to do a variety of things on the track and then off to be able to be considered.
Make sure to join us on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. on WETV Channel 20. And welcome back to IUE's volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network, 13-8 after a point there served by Abby Ketchum. And UNOH unable to return it. Here's another serve from Ketchum, goes over to the Racers. Here's the block up front, kept alive by Missy Bedell. And once more over to the Racers. Goes over to Madison Yoder, who's able to get the dig. Here's Livingston with the attack, and it's going to go into the net, but a point rewarded to the Red Wolves off of that play, 14-8. So the Red Wolves now have their largest lead, which is 6. Ketchum with the dig. Yoder once more, and here is Bedell. Blocked up front by the Racers, but kept alive by the Red Wolves. Here's Mallory Livingston, tips it over. Now the Racers taking their turn. And the best hits it way up into the air off the dig. Madison Yoder, almost a little miscommunication there between Yoder and Ketchum. And goes over out of bounds, a point to the Red Wolves. Now a 7-point lead, and that's actually going to end up going to UNOH. A 5-point lead now for the Red Wolves, 14-9. So back to serve for UNOH. Looks like number 15 is Katie Elson. And that'll be a point to IUE, 15-9. Once again, still working on getting our score graphic put up for tonight's broadcast. 15-9, here's the serve from Mallory Livingston. Steinbrenner is able to get a hand on it. That's going to be a point to IU East. 16-9 now. Goes over to the Racers. Steinbrenner trying to block up front, kept alive by IU East. This is going to go over to the UNOH bench off the hand of Kelsey Feely. And it'll be a point to IU East, 17-9. And a timeout taken by UNOH. So we'll take one as well, and we'll be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Hello, I'm Caleb Gillock, the host of Inside IUE Sports, a show where we talk with coaches, players, and other guests about what's happening with IUE's athletics.
In the top 100 high school seniors.
Last year we were fortunate enough to do a variety of things on the track and then off to be able to be considered.
Make sure to join us on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. on WETV Channel 20.
I'm Dr. Ganesh Ramachandran, the region's only hand specialist at Reed Orthopedic Center. Patients love how easy it is having everything under one roof and how easy it is to get here. Right here at Reed Orthopedic Center, right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. IU East now leads by 9 coming out of the timeout. 18-9 in the first set. And Mallory Livingston going back to serve for IU East, the only senior on the IU East roster this year. Here's the serve from Livingston. Goes over to the UNH back row. And that's going to be a point to IU East off of reaching over. And now it's 19-9. 10-point lead for IU East. Serve goes over to the back row for UNOH. And this will be out of bounds. A point to the Red Wolves. Now 20-9. Only 5 points away from ending the first set and taking a 1-0 lead in the match. Set and the attack kept alive by Livingston. Ketchum with the dig up front. Back over to the Racers. There's the attack over to Yoder with the dig. Ketchum barely had to reach. This is going to be a point to UNOH. Off of reaching over, and now it's 20-10. So back to serve for UNOH is Samantha Mizell, a 5'7" senior out of Grantville, Georgia. Went to Point University, and there's another point to the Racers. Now 20-11. Goes over to Livingston. Blocked up front by the Racers. And that narrows the IUE's lead down to 8, now 20-12. Mizell still back to serve. Serve goes over to Livingston with the dig. Here's Bailey Gates with the attack and a point to IU East. Now it's 21-12. 9-point lead for IU East. Madison Yoder going back to serve. Yoder, a returning sophomore out of Indianapolis, went to Ben Davis High School. Here's the serve from Yoder, goes over to the Racers. Gates with an easy attack up front, and now it's 22-12. Trying to close out the first set, 3 points away from doing so. Here's the set. Over to Yoder with the dig. Catch him once more. Gates gets it over, but it's going to be out of bounds. And a point to UNOH. 22-13. Goes over to the back row to Mallory Livingston. And that's a point to IU East after UNOH just can't get the ball back over. And now it's 23-13, nearing set point. Bella Pavey back to serve for IU East. Set by Yoder. Blocked up front by UNOH, and a point to the Racers, 23-14. And back to serve now for UNOH is number 16. That's Nicolina Nikolic. And Gates gets blocked up front. Another point to the Racers. Now 23-15, an 8-point lead for IU East in the first set. Here's the serve from Nikolic. Gates gets it over for IU East. And a kill inbounds for number 12, that's Leah Hoffman. Hoffman's a 5'10 junior. And IU East is going to take a timeout. So we'll take a timeout as well. And we'll be back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolf Sports Network.
I'm Dr. Ganesh Ramachandran, the region's only hand specialist at Reed Orthopedic Center. Patients love how easy it is having everything under one roof and how easy it is to get here. Right here at Reed Orthopedic Center, right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. 23-16 on the first set. Red Wolves have the lead. Here's the serve from UNOH. It's going to be a service error and a point to IU East. And that makes it 24-16 in the first set. Bailey Gates will go back to serve, set point for IU East. Here's the serve from Gates. Goes into the net on a service error and a point to UNOH. Now it's 24-17. Annabast back into the game for the Red Wolves. And Feely back in to serve for the Racers. Seven-point lead for IU East. Still a set point opportunity here for the Red Wolves. Livingston with the attack that time, but kept alive by UNOH. And there's a point to the Racers, now 24-18. There's the IU East lead down to 6. Here's the serve. Goes over to Livingston. And Durham with the attack that time for the Red Wolves. Yoder with the dig. Ketchum with the attack, and this one's going to be inbounds, and that will bring the first set to a close. The Red Wolves will take the first set 25-18 and lead the match 1-0. So in the first set, IU East came out to a great start, but UNOH did not back down as the set got later on. So a 25-18 win in the first set puts the Red Wolves up 1-0 in the match. We'll take a quick break and be back with more IU East volleyball right here on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network.
What the NAIA has figured out through all their character and leadership programs is let's develop these players as men and women of character, and by doing so, these players will ultimately reach their ceiling.
Up into the front row, and right there, Gates with a nice kill to end the first set. There is Gates with the kill. Gates with the kill. Here's Gates with a kill. And Bailey Gates back to serve now. Here's her serve. That's going to be an ace. Bailey Gates with the kill. And Gates with the kill. Watch up front by Bailey Gates. Ball there is Gates with a nice kill. Gates that time. And right there was Bailey Gates up in the front row for the Red Wolves. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. The IU East Red Wolves have a 1-0 lead in the match over the University of Northwestern Ohio Racers after winning the first set 25-18. So a great start for the Red Wolves here in the Lindsey Wilson College Classic, and looking for a great second set here against the Racers as well. So out on the floor to start the second set for the Red Wolves, Mallory Livingston, Sydney Durham, Abby Ketchum, Bella Pavey, Madison Yoder, and Hannah Best. All out on the floor to start the second set for the IU East Red Wolves. And Hannah Best goes back to serve for IU East. And here we are ready to play in the second set. 1-0 lead for the Red Wolves in the match. And it's going to be a service error, so a point to UNOH to start the second set. Here's the serve from UNOH. Yoder gets it back across. And there's an attack. It's going to go out of bounds, and another point for UNOH. Now 2-0 for the start here in the second set. Back to serve for the Racers is Kelsey Feely, a 5'5 junior who went to Fort Recovery High School in Ohio. Here's the serve. Goes back to Yoder with the dig. Durham with the attack that time, picked up by the Racers, blocked up on the front row by IU East, and kept alive by UNOH. And drops to the floor that time. It's now 3-0 in favor of the Racers. So waiting on the serve from Feely. Goes over to Madison Yoder. Pavey gets it back across for IU East, and this is going to go out of bounds. A point for the Red Wolves, and now it is 3-1. Sydney Durham goes back to serve for IU East. Here's the serve. And it goes into the net, so service error and a point to the Racers. Now 4-1. So a 4-1 game. Here is the serve from Anderson. Ketchum's attack goes long, so another point to the Racers. Now 5-1. The serve from Anderson goes over to Yoder with the dig. Steinbrenner able to get the ball back across for the Red Wolves. And a point for IU East. Now it is 5-2. Abby Ketchum back to serve for IU East. Here's the serve. Goes over into Anderson with the dig. Yoder able to keep it alive that time, and a point to UNOH. Steinbrenner just not able to get to the ball, and now it is 6-2 here in the second set. Going back to serve for the Racers is Katie Elson, a 5'9 sophomore from Gas City, Indiana, went to Mississinawa High School. And that's going to be off the hands of Hannah Best. Now it's 7-2. So not the start that the Red Wolves were looking for here in the second set, but still plenty of time to make a comeback and win the set. Goes over to Yoder with the dig, set by Ketchum, and a kill by Steinbrenner. Now makes it 7-3, a 4-point lead for the Racers. So Mallory Livingston, the only senior on the IU East roster, will go back to serve. Here's the serve from Livingston, goes over to the Racers. Winner gets it back across that time for UNOH. And that'll be a point to the Red Wolves, now 7-4. Red Wolves have narrowed the UNOH lead down to 3. Here's the serve from Livingston. Going to be not returned by UNOH, 7-5. So the officials going over a few things before they give the ball to Mallory Livingston. And here's the serve from Livingston. Goes over into the back row to Anderson. Winner gets it back across, but it's out of bounds. So it's now 7-6. And they just made a correction to the official scoreboard. The point goes to UNOH. They first called an out, and then the correct call made by the line judge, 8-5. Set, and just in front of Livingston, unable to get to it. 9-5 in the second set. The Red Wolves have the 1-0 lead in the match. Samantha Mazzell will go back to serve now for the Racers. One of the seniors at Northwestern Ohio this year. And this is going to be a point given to UNOH, now 10-5. So a 5-point lead for the Racers. Goes over to Steinbrenner, set by Ketchum, faked by Steinbrenner, and Gates with the attack. A point to the Red Wolves, and it's now 10-6. Madison Yoder back to serve for IU East. Here's the serve, goes over to Anderson in the back row with the dig. Here's Winters with the attack, picked up by Ketchum, and it's going to be just in bounds for a point to the Red Wolves. 10-7. Now only a 3-point deficit for IU East. And service error for IU East gives a point to UNOH, now 11-7. Inside a quiet gym, there's the serve from Callie Hawkins. And another point to UNOH. Now it's 12-7. So a 5-point lead for the Racers. Ball goes over to Madison Yoder. Gates able to get the dig. Keep the ball inbounds, and here is an attack, but blocked up front by both Durham and Bedell, and picked up by Madison Yoder. Great hustle by Yoder. And once more over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Set by Ketchum. Here's Bedell with the attack, and a little confusion up in the Racer front row. And Abby Ketchum just not able to get to the ball that time, and now it is 13-7. In favor of the Racers. So a timeout now is going to be taken down on the floor after UNOH has a 6-point lead. So after the timeout being taken down on the floor, we are going to take one as well and be right back with more IU East Volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. 13-7 in the second set. A 6-point advantage for the Racers from Northwestern Ohio. And now here is the serve from Callie Hawkins, a 6-foot senior from Raleigh, North Carolina. Going to be not returned by the Red Wolves, 14-7. Goes back for another serve from the Racers. Out on the floor for the Red Wolves, Durham, Ketchum, Gates, Livingston, Yoder, and Bedell. The serve goes over to IU East. Ketchum with the dig. Gates with the attack, and it's going to go out of bounds. And another point to the Racers. Now it's 15-7. So an 8-point advantage for UNOH here in the second set, and now a service error. There's a point back to IU East. 15-8. Bella Pavey comes in. She'll go back to serve for IU East. Here's the serve from Pavey. It's over to Winter. Picked up by Livingston, and a point to the Racers off of 2 hits makes it 16-8. And sub coming in for the Racers. That's going to be number 16. That's Nikolina Nikolic, a 5'8 junior from Serbia. Over to Gates, set by Pavey. Ketchum with the kill for the Red Wolves this time, and it's going to be 16-9. So a 7-point lead for the Racers of Northwestern Ohio, but here's the serve from Bailey Gates. Goes just across the top of the net. And this is going to be out of bounds. Red Wolves will pick up double digits now in the second set. 16-10. The serve from Bailey Gates. Goes over to Mazzell. And another point to IU East. Now it's 16-11. Once again, don't forget the Red Wolves will be playing Lindsey Wilson coming up at 8:30. I'll let you know if that game's going to either be on time or running a little ahead or running a little late. And that game will also be broadcast by Lindsey Wilson College. So we'll have a link to their broadcast as well. 16-12 and another timeout down on the floor. So we'll take one as well here in the second set. A 4-point lead for UNOH. Be right back with more IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves. Up into the front row. And right there, Gates with a nice kill to end the first set. There is Gates with the kill. Gates with the kill. Here's Gates with a kill. And Bailey Gates back to serve now. Here's her serve. That's going to be an ace. Bailey Gates with the kill. And Gates with the kill. Blocked up front by Bailey Gates. The ball there is Gates with a nice kill. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. 16-12, and the Racers have the lead. Now it is 17-12 after the IU East service error. Here in the second set, the Red Wolves have the 1-0 lead in the match. And going back to serve is Kelsey Feely for UNOH. By Pavey, and a little bit of confusion there between the Red Wolves. 18-12. So Feely will continue to serve for UNOH. And a service there results in a point to the Red Wolves. 18-13. So Sydney Durham going back to serve now for IU East. Goes over to Feely. Blocked up front by Steinbrenner. And now it's 18-14. IU East narrows the lead down to 4. Serve goes across to Mazzell, and an attack by Ketchum. Be tipped out of bounds, and now it's a 3-point deficit, 18-15. Here's the serve from Sydney Durham. Goes over to Mazzell at the attack, blocked up front by Steinbrenner. And it's going to be out of bounds off of IU East, so a point to the Racers. 19-15. Livingston with the attack, but blocked up front by number 11, that's Callie Hawkins. And that makes it 20-15, a 5-point lead for the Racers. Dig by Best, set by Pavey, and ball doesn't go over the net after Ketchum was able to get a hand on it. 21-15. Here's the serve from Anderson, goes over to Best. Livingston with the attack, and that's going to be a point to UNOH, 22-15. So a 7-point advantage for UNOH, and this is going to be out of bounds, a point to the Red Wolves. And that makes the score 22-16. Abby Ketchum going back to serve for IU East. And Yoder hustling over after the ball, but not able to get to it. And that makes the score 23-16. So a 7-point lead for UNOH, 23-16 here in the second set. IU East leads the match 1-0. Another point for the Racers brings up set point, 24-16. Serve goes over to Steinbrenner, who is able to get the kill, 24-17. And that'll put Mallory Livingston back to serve for IU East, 24-17. In the second set. Keep you updated on all the score. Having another problem with the score graphic. We'll have that back on at the start of the third set. Here's the serve from Livingston. Goes over to Mazzell. And Mazzell gets the attack, and that gives Northwestern Ohio the second set, 25-17, and they tie the match up now 25-17, and the match is tied at 1-1. So another second set there by IU East and the Racers. IU East just not able to catch up in the second set after UNOH coming back, seeking a little bit of revenge there in the second set. So we'll come back with the third set of IU East Volleyball right here on the Red Wolf Sports Network. Mallory Livingston going back to serve. Livingston's a 5'9" outside hitter. Livingston. Here's Livingston once more, and that was going to be inbounds on the right side with the kill. Mallory with the set, and Livingston with the kill. And here's Livingston. Livingston with the kill. And there's Livingston with the kill. Livingston with the kill. Livingston up front with the kill. That's not one I'd want to see coming at me.
Yeah, not at all. That would leave a mark.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Match all tied up now at 1-1 after UNOH comes back to win the second set 25-17. IU East won the first set 25-18. So this match will definitely go at least 4 sets. Out on the floor for IU East, Hannah Best, Madison Yoder, Bella Pavey, Sydney Durham, Abby Ketchum, and Mallory Livingston, all out on the floor for IU East. Making sure the UNOH lineup is correct as well. Looks like the front row right now for UNOH is going to consist of Mazzell, as well as Elson, and Kelsey Feely looks like up in the front row. Well, that's going to be number 9. That's Stephanie Hainwold up in the front row. And then back in the back row is going to be Feely, along with Anderson and Elson. UNOH will serve to start off the third set. Serve goes over to Livingston, set by Pavey. Livingston with the attack. It doesn't clear the net, so that's going to start things off for UNOH here in the third set. So bear with me throughout the broadcast, trying to be sure that the score graphic and everything is showing up in today's broadcast. Here's Ketchum with the attack, goes over to UNOH. Point to the Racers. Going to make the score 2-0. Waiting on the serve from Feely. Goes over to Mallory Livingston, set by Pavey. Durham gets it across, and not able to get to it is Anderson. And that'll give the Red Wolves their first point in the second set. It's going to be 2-1. Cindy Durham back to serve. Goes across. Set by Steinbrenner. Here's Mallory Livingston. And a point to the Red Wolves. Ties it up at 2. One of the things we've talked about with IU East is just being sure that there's enough positive energy out on the floor, and I don't think that's been a problem for the Red Wolves yet. I think they're in the second set. UNOH just came out wanting the second set a little more to make this match last a little bit longer. Set goes over to Livingston, and it's going to be tipped out of bounds. A point to the Red Wolves, 3-2. Durham will continue to serve for IU East. Goes over into the back row. And there's the attack off the hands of Pavey. Nothing she can do about that one. And it'll be a point to the Racers, tying the third set up at 3. The serve from Anderson over to Best. Set by Pavey. Blocked up front by Hawkins. And it's 4-3 in favor of the Racers. UNOH comes into the matchup with an 0-5 record. IU East 2-2. And it looks like Hawkins going to be caught for being over the net. Ties it up 4-4. An even matchup here in the third set. So got it across for the Racers. And the attack by Livingston kept alive by Feely in the back row. Steinbrenner gets it across. Set by Ketchum. Here's Bedell. And easy tip for UNOH. Bedell gets it across once more for the Red Wolves. And this is going to go into the back row to Hannah Best. Steinbrenner gets it across for the kill, this time for IU East. And now it is a 5-4 lead for the Red Wolves. Abby Ketchum will go back to serve now for IU East. There's the dig by Anderson. Goes over to Yoder with the dig. Set by Ketchum. Here's Livingston with the kill. This is going to be called out of bounds, and a point to the Racers. The 5-5 now in the third set. Both teams struggling with the ball up by the net that time, but the point will go to the Racers, 6-5. A 1-point lead for UNOH. Short serve that time, but Red Wolves able to keep it alive. Livingston gets blocked up front, but it's going to be out of bounds. So we're all tied up once more, 6-6. Here's the serve from Mallory Livingston. The set. And dig almost slides across the line there underneath the net. Vidal gets it across for IU East. Blocked up front by Steinbrenner. And another point to the Red Wolves, 7-6. So a 1-point lead for the Red Wolves here in the third set. Mallory Livingston still back to serve for IU East. Again, doing a little housekeeping down here on the floor after one or two of the UNOH players both went sliding across the floor during that play. Livingston gets the serve across. Ketchum able to keep it alive, goes way back. But Feely able to save it. And this is going to be out of bounds, a point to the Red Wolves. Now their largest lead in the third set, 8-6. So the serve by Livingston goes over to Anderson, and another point to the Red Wolves off of two hits. Now it's 9-6. And that'll be out of bounds, 10-6 for IU East, up by 4. Served by Livingston, goes across. And now a point to IU East once more, 11-6. So the Red Wolves starting to rally back after losing the second set, 25-17. Here's the serve from Livingston. Goes across to Anderson. And the Racers not able to get it back across, 12-6. And a timeout taken by UNH, so we'll take one as well. IU East has a 12-6 lead here in the third set, and the match is all tied up at 1-1. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. A 12-6 lead in the third set. And the match all tied up 1-1 against the University of Northwestern Ohio. Here's the serve from Mallory Livingston. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. And blocked up front by number 11. That's Callie Hawkins. 6-foot middle blocker from North Carolina. So it's 12-7. Goes over to Yoder with the dig. And blocked up front by number 19, Taylor Winner. She's a 5'11 freshman we talked about back in the pregame show. Winner leads the Racers right now with 1.9 kills and a half a block per set. 12-8. Here's Gates with the attack. It goes over into the back row to Mazzell. Catch him with the set. Bedell with the attack and blocked once more by Hawkins. So 12-9. The Racers starting to make a little comeback of their own here in the third set. His serve goes over to Madison Yoder. Catch him over to Gates. Gates gets it across, and it's going to be a point to the Red Wolves after the Racers hit it out of bounds, 13-9. Once again, I'd like to remind you again that the game against Lindsey Wilson coming up at 8:30 IU East time. Obviously running a little late, so we will let you know when that game is going to take place. But that game will be broadcast by Lindsey Wilson. We will not have that one here on the Red Wolf Sports Network. We'll have a link to that game for you. Another point to the Red Wolves makes it 14-10. Bella Baby going back to serve for IU East. So it goes across. And blocked up front by Gates and Durham. 14-11 after it's hit out of bounds. Back to serve now for the Racers. It's number 16. That's Nikolic from Serbia. Last went to Bluefield State College. Set by Pavey. Gates with the attack, and it's going to be a point to Northwestern Ohio. I think they got Pavey for being in the net that time. So the IU East lead has been narrowed down to 2 points. And here's the serve. Goes over to Gates. Livingston gets it across. Lee Durham was able to tip it back over the net that time. And there's a kill for the Racers, 14-13. Nikolic continuing to serve for the Racers. Serve goes over to Madison Yoder in the back row with the dig. Catch it with the attack. And another point to Northwestern Ohio. Ties it up at 14 in the third set. So waiting on the serve from Northwestern Ohio. And here it is. Yoder with the dig. And a point to the Red Wolves that time after the Racers not able to get the ball back across. Makes it 15-14. Bailey Gates back to serve. Gates a sophomore at IU East from Winchester. And 2 hits, a point to the Red Wolves, 16-14. now have a 2-point lead in the third set. Again, making sure that the floor is all safe out there, and a lot of movement over here on the UNOH side. Obviously, don't want anyone to get hurt at this point in the season. Still too early for injuries. Speaking of injuries, over there on the IU East bench, Peyton Perkins still out with her knee, and Madison Christ still out with a shoulder. The serve from Gates over to Anderson. Hit by the Racers, but blocked up front by the Red Wolves, 17-14. Now it's a 3-point lead for IU East. Bailey Gates going back to serve. Steinbrenner, Durham, and Ketchum make up the front row for the Red Wolves right now. That's going to be attack with the kill there for the Racers, 17-15. And back to serve now for the Racers is Kelsey Feely. Her serve goes over to Hannah Best in the back row. And a kill there by Sydney Durham. It's going to be a point to the Racers. Just called it on the tip that time, 17-16. Valerie Livingston with the kill that time for IU East, but another point to the Racers, ties it up at 17. There's the serve from Feely. Goes over to Hannah Best. And nice block up front by Durham. And that gives the Red Wolves back a 1-point lead, 18-17. So the serve goes across. There's the set. Over to Hannah Best off her hand, and a few more of the Red Wolves will be tipped down the bounds, and a point to the Racers ties it up at 18. So Sierra Anderson back to serve once more for the Racers. Here's her serve, goes over to Mallory Livingston with the dig. Ketchum with the attack that time, kept alive by Anderson, blocked up front by Hawkins, and a point to the Racers, 19-18. So a 1-point lead here in the third set for the Racers of Northwestern Ohio. And the match is all tied up at 1. Serve goes over to Hannah Best with the dig. And Steinbrenner's attack goes long, and a point to the Racers, 20-18. And that's going to be a timeout taken by Coach Abby Niekamp. The Red Wolves now trail by 2 in the third set, 20-18. Match all tied up 1-1. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. The match is all tied up at 1, but the leader here in the third set is the University of Northwestern Ohio, who has the 20-18 lead, looking to take a 2-1 advantage in the match. Here's the serve from Anderson. It's going to be a service error after it goes out of bounds over on the left side. And there's that lead down to 1 point. Red Wolves have a chance to make some progress here in the third set. Abby Ketchum back to serve. Hawkins gets it over to Yoder. Livingston's attack goes over to Feely. Mallory Livingston keeping the ball live for IU East. Bedell hits it that time, up off the ceiling. And Anderson able to save it for the Racers. Here's another attack by Livingston. And they're going to call a replay. It was one player down on the floor. That player is from Northwestern Ohio. It's number 14. It's North Attica. A 5'9" senior for the Racers. Out on the floor right now for IU East is Ketchum, Yoder, Bedell, Best, Livingston, and Steinbrenner. And for Attica now up, being walked off of the floor. Still 20-19 here in the third set. UNOH has the advantage. Abby Ketchum will now serve for the Red Wolves. All right, back to volleyball. Ketchum back to serve for IU East. Serve goes over to Mizell. Gently across, another point to UNOH, 21-19. A 2-point lead for UNOH here in the third set. Match all tied up with 1. And the service error for the Racers gives a point back to the Red Wolves, 21-20. Mallory Livingston going back to serve now for the Red Wolves. Going to go over to Mizell on the back row. Just past Mallory Livingston, another point to the Racers, 22-20. And substitutions coming in for both the Racers and the Red Wolves. Looks like coming into the game was Leah Hoffman for Northwestern Ohio. And still looks like the same group out on the floor for the Red Wolves. All right, looks like we're ready to go. Back to serve is Samantha Mizell, a 5'7" senior from Grantville, Georgia. Went to Point University. Sent by Ketchum. Here's Gates with the attack, and it's going blocked up front by Hawkins. But here is Bedell once more, and gets blocked by Hawkins, 23-20. So a 3-point advantage for Northwestern Ohio here in the third set. The match all tied up 1-1. And Northwestern Ohio trying to take the lead here at the end of the third set. Steinbrenner with the attack, and it's going to be a point to the Red Wolves. 23-21. Madison Yoder going back to serve for the Red Wolves. got a lot of times to stop and clean up some moisture off the floor. And, I don't think it's either team just trying to kill a little bit of time. It really is warm in this gym, and I know I've been in some different gyms where it's warm in here. The humidity builds up down on the floor and makes it a slick playing surface. So obviously want those players to be as safe as possible with it being early in the season. There's another point to UNOH. Makes it 24-21. So back to serve for UNOH is Hawkins, and she'll be serving set point. Serve goes over to Bailey Gates in the back row. And Gates with the attack, and it's going to be a point to UNOH after the ball goes into the net. So a 2-1 lead now in the match after UNOH wins the third set 25-21. And they have the 2-1 lead in the match. So stay tuned. We'll be coming back with more IU East volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. And once again, want to just give you a reminder that the game against Lindsey Wilson will be broadcast by them. So be sure to follow us on Twitter. We'll have a link to that game as we will not be broadcasting it. Lindsey Wilson has requested to do so. So we'll be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Nice one there in the front row by number 21, Morgan Steinbrenner. And here's Morgan Steinbrenner. Her kill will be good. That time up front was Steinbrenner with the block. Steinbrenner with the kill. Here's Steinbrenner for the kill. Gently over the net. There's Steinbrenner with the kill.
We felt the best way to change human behavior was not necessarily to always be on people's backs, but rather it was to catch them doing something right and to reinforce it.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. A 2-1 lead in the match for the University of Northwestern Ohio after winning the second and third sets with score of 25-17 and 25-21. So getting ready to go into the fourth set between the IU East Red Wolves and the University of Northwestern Ohio Racers. Out on the floor to start the fourth set for IU East, Bella Pavey, Mallory Livingston, Abby Ketchum, Sydney Durham, and Madison Yoder along with Bailey Gates. That's the starting six out on the floor for the Red Wolves. Ready to go here in the fourth set. Bailey Gates back to serve for IU East. Gates with the serve. And starts it off with a service error. 1-0 start for Northwestern Ohio. Back to serve for the Racers is Kelsey Feely, a 5'5" junior defensive specialist for the Racers. And that's going to go out of bounds off of the Red Wolves as well, 2-0. Kind of starting like the last set did. A little bit of a slow start for IU East, but then rallying back throughout the set. It's going to be a point to IU East, 2-1. There's the serve from Sydney Durham. Goes over to Anderson. And Hannah Bass fighting to keep it alive, but not able to get to the ball. 3-1. Set by Pavey. Now 4-1 after another point to UNOH. Nice attack there by Mallory Livingston. Gives a point to the Red Wolves, 4-2. They'll send Abby Ketchum back to serve. Annabeth back there with Ketchum. Serve goes across to Mizell. Ketchum with the dig. Yoder with another. Here's Bedell. Dig by Yoder. Here's Livingston getting it across for the Red Wolves. And an attack there by Hawkins goes out of bounds. And it'll be a point to IU East, 4-3. One-point advantage for the Racers. Tips it over Madison Yoder trying to get to it, and it goes off of the arm of Valerie Livingston out of bounds. So it's 5-3 in favor of UNOH. The serve from Elson. Livingston back to Feely. Yoder with the dig, set by Ketchum. Here's Livingston. Off the hands of Hawkins into the back row to Anderson. And Mizell being there to get the ball back across. Here's Steinbrenner. Gets blocked up front by the Racer front row, and it's now 6-3. Six to 3 in favor of UNOH in the fourth set. They have the 2-1 lead in the match here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. And it's going to be out of bounds. Tipped off of the Red Wolves. And Coach Niekamp would like to take a timeout. So while she takes a timeout and gets the Red Wolves to regroup here early on in the fourth set, we'll take a quick break as well and bring you more IU East volleyball right after this.
I'm Dr. Ganesh Ramachandran, the region's only hand specialist at Reed Orthopedic Center. Patients love how easy it is having everything under one roof and how easy it is to get here. Right here at Reed Orthopedic Center, right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Match all tied, or match led by Northwestern Ohio 2-1, and a 7-3 lead for the Racers as well here in the fourth set. So back to serve for UNOH, Katie Elson, a 5'9" sophomore outside hitter. And this is going to be a point to the Red Wolves after it goes out of play, 7-4. Mallory Livingston back to serve for IU East. Here's the 7-4 serve. Hawkins gets it across. Ketchum able to keep it alive for IU East. Goes under the back row to Feely. Ketchum sets it. Yoder with the dig. Gates tries to put it back across, but blocked up front by the Racers. And now it's 8-4. UNOH, will serve with a 4-point advantage. Blocked up front by number 12, that's Leah Hoffman. And now it's a 5-point lead for the Racers. Once again, we've talked about how the humidity is building up here inside of the Biggers Sports Center, And there's a kill by Hawkins. 10-4 puts the Racers up by 6. And Mizell goes back to serve for Northwestern Ohio. Here's the serve. Goes back to Bailey Gates, set by Ketchum. Gates gets it across for IU East. And kept alive by UNOH. That time with the attack. Here's Bedell for the Red Wolves. Picked up by Mizell in the back row. And this is going to go out of bounds. Smart move there by Mallory Livingston. And it's 10-5. Here's the serve. And a nice kill there by Leah Hoffman. Makes it 11-5. Hawkins goes back to serve now for UNOH. Set by Ketchum. Bell hits it up into the air between the rafters, and this is going to be a point to UNOH after the out-of-bounds goal. So 12-5, a 7-point lead for the Racers. And here's the serve from Hawkins. It'll be a point to the Racers as well. 13-5 off of 2 hits. And another timeout taken by IU East. So the Red Wolves now trail by 8 in the 4th set. And Abby Niekamp would like to take another timeout. We'll take one as well and be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. An 8-point lead for the Racers of the University of Northwestern Ohio. 13-5 here in the 4th set, and the Racers also have a 2-1 lead in the match. Once again, we are in Columbia, Kentucky at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. IU East will be taking on the host school, Lindsey Wilson, here shortly after this game. Once again, it'll be broadcast by the Lindsey Wilson College Athletic Department. A point to the Red Wolves, 13-6. We'll have a link posted for that game. Bella Pavey back to serve for IU East. And that goes down and out of bounds. A point to the Racers, 14-6. Durham, Ketchum, Gates, Pavey, Yoder, and Livingston out on the floor for the Red Wolves right now. The serve from Nicolak. And it's going to go out of bounds. A point to the Racers, 15-6. So a 9-point advantage for Northwestern Ohio. Here's the serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder. Durham gets it across for IU East with the attack. And once more to point to the Red Wolves. Off of an illegal lift. 15-7. So an 8-point advantage as Bailey Gates goes back to serve. UNOH has that advantage. Bailey Gates wanting to exchange the volleyball here. So here's the serve from the IU East sophomore. Goes across into the back row, almost a collision there between Ellison and Mizell, but results in a point to Northwestern Ohio, 16-7. And back to serve once more, Kelsey Feely for the Racers. Their serve goes across, a little bit of a short serve to Durham. Ketchum gets it across and kicked over, set by Livingston. That time Pavey able to get it across for IU East. Not able to get there in time. 17-7, a 10-point lead for the Racers. Serve goes across, not quite. It's going to be a service error. Point to the Red Wolves, 17-8. And this one goes up to Durham off of the lights inside of the gymnasium. And a point to the Red Wolves, 17-9. City Durham continuing to serve for IU East, the 6'1 sophomore from Noblesville. And now it's 17-10. Red Wolves have it narrowed down to 7. Still a lot of work to do here in the fourth set. Goes over to Mizell. Set by Durham. The attack by Livingston goes over to Anderson. Picked up by Nicolak. And Ketchum with the attack that time for IU East. Goes up off of one of the PA speakers here inside of the Bigger Sports Center. And a point to the Racers. Eight-point lead. So Anderson back to serve for the Racers. Anderson is the UNOH libero, and a nice kill there by Mallory Livingston. 18-11. The Ketchum will be going back to serve for IU East. Here's her serve. There goes over the top of the net, and another point to IU East. narrows it down to a 6-point game, 18-12, and a timeout taken by UNOH. So Red Wolves have narrowed the lead down to 6 for the Racers of Northwestern Ohio. We'll take a quick break and be right back with more IU East Volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Hello, I'm Caleb Gillock, the host of Inside IUE Sports, a show where we talk with coaches, players, and other guests about what's happening with IUE's athletics.
In the top 100 high school seniors.
Last year we were fortunate enough to do a variety of things on the track and then off to be able to be considered.
Make sure to join us on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. on WETV Channel 20. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. The Red Wolves are starting to make a little bit of a rally here in the fourth set, and have narrowed the UNOH lead down to 6. But there's an attack that lands in front of Madison Yoder and makes it 19-12. And a 7-point lead now for Northwestern Ohio. Here's the serve from Elson. Catch him with the dig. Livingston gets it across. Mazel's kill is going to be out of bounds just barely. And that makes it 19-13, a point to the Red Wolves. The serve from Mallory Livingston. Bedell gets it across, that time for the Red Wolves. And Yoder hustling after it that time, but tips it out of bounds, so it'll be 20-13. Here's the serve from Mazel. And Steinbrenner easily gets the ball across that time for the Red Wolves. Sydney Durham comes back out of the game for her. Red Wolves down by 6, 20-14. Madison Yoder back to serve for the Red Wolves. Once again, cleaning up the floor. And looks like we are ready to go now. So a 6-point advantage for the Northwestern Ohio Racers. Here's the serve from Yoder. And this is going to be a point to IU East off of 2 hits. And now it's 20-15. Madison Yoder will continue to serve for IU East. There's the set and the attack by Hoffman. And there's a kill for the Red Wolves, 22-16. Abby Ketchum giving the ball back to Madison Yoder. And now here's the serve. Smith goes long and a point to the Racers, 21-16. So a 5-point lead for the Racers as Callie Hawkins goes back to serve. Madison Yoder with the dig, gets it back to Livingston. And blocked up front by Durham and Gates. The point to the Red Wolves, 21-17. So the Red Wolves have narrowed it down to 4. Slowly but surely. Livingston and Pavey collide and results in a point to the Racers, 22-17. And back to serve is Nikolic. And gets it across. Blocked up front that time. And another point to the Racers, 23-17. So here's the serve from Northwestern Ohio. It's going to go across and back to Bailey Gates with the dig. Pavey with another, and Gates with the attack. This is going to be out of bounds. And they're actually going to call it inbounds, a point to the Red Wolves, 23-18. Here's the serve from Gates. It's going to be a service error. And now it's 24-18. It's going to bring up match point for the Racers from Northwestern Ohio. Here's the serve. Back to Best. Set by Livingston, and the attack. This one's going to be out of bounds, and Northwestern Ohio will pick up their first win of the season and will improve their record to 1-5. The Red Wolves fall to 2-3 after this loss in the first game of the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. IU East won the first set 25-18, and then the Northwestern Ohio Racers won 3 after that, 25-17, 25-21, and 25-18 to take the 3-1 win in the match over the IU East Red Wolves. Looks like they're going to put 30 minutes up on the clock. That's when the Red Wolves will take on the host team, the Lindsey Wilson College Blue Raiders. And don't forget that that game is going to be broadcast by the Lindsey Wilson College Athletic Department on their website. Their website is lindseyathletics.com. So you could go there, and looks like they're on the top bar of their website. They have a Lindsey Live button. Go ahead and click on that, and that'll bring up their 2015-16 media schedule for upcoming events page. And the IU East matchup is going to be the top one, and it's a 7:30 start time listed for their broadcast. Obviously running a little bit behind down here in Columbia, Kentucky, after that match there between the Red Wolves and the Racers went long. But we are waiting on Coach Abby Niekamp to make her way up here for the post-game show interview. So we'll take a quick break and be right back with the post-game show right here on the Red Wolf Sports Network. Hello, I'm Caleb Gillock, the host of Inside IUE Sports, a show where we talk with coaches, players, and other guests about what's happening with IUE's athletics.
In the top 100 high school seniors.
Last year we were fortunate enough to do a variety of things on the track and then off to be able to be considered.
Make sure to join us on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. on WETV Channel 20.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to the IU East Volleyball postgame show here on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network. The University of Northwestern Ohio Racers took a 3-1 win over the IU East Red Wolves with scores of 18-25, 25-17, 25-21, and 25-18 were the scores after the Racers won the second, third, and fourth sets of the matchup. Looks like Coach Niekamp down there busy preparing for this second matchup, getting ready to take place against the host school. That's the Lindsey Wilson College Blue Raiders, who the Red Wolves will be getting ready to take on here in just a few minutes. Don't forget, be sure to go to lindseyathletics.com and go to their Lindsey Live section on their website. It's right up at the top. You can't miss it, and you can find their broadcast link there. It's the first one on the 2015-16 media schedule for upcoming events, so be sure to go see that. The Red Wolves fall to 2-3, and the Racers improve to 1-5. Taking a look at some of the categories here on the stat sheet, the Red Wolves had, looks like, a total of 43 kills in the matchup against Northwestern Ohio's almost 50 in the matchup. So the Red Wolves outdone there on kills, but really not a bad matchup for IU East. Yes, came out big there in the first set and fell behind there starting the second set, but looked like just a more nerves with such a young team coming out. And we talked back at Grace College last weekend about how tough of a tournament that was and how much more tough this tournament have the potential of being. And as you saw there in the pregame show, definitely a lot of potential and a lot of competition for this tournament here. So once again, the Red Wolves fall to Northwestern Ohio 3-1. Be sure to go to lindseyathletics.com and go to their Lindsey Line section on their website to tune in for the next matchup. That game is going to start in just over 26 minutes. So it looks like about 8:40 start time here, so 9:40 back in Richmond is going to be the start time for that matchup. So about 26 minutes exact now until that matchup. Once again, we'll be back on the air tomorrow with the matchups for IU East. Tomorrow they'll be taking on Union out of Kentucky. That game is going to start at 3 p.m. IU East time and Bethel at 7 p.m. IU East time. So be sure to tune in for those two matchups tomorrow. We'll be excited to have those games back on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Until next time, I'm Caleb Gillock, the voice of your IU East Red Wolves. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.